Cable trays must be securely supported at intervals not exceeding 1.8 meters or 6 feet and shall have a maximum deflection of not more than 1/240 of the span under the weight of the cables. This means that cable trays can be installed at any height as long as they are securely supported and do not deflect more than 1/240 of the span under the weight of the cables. The NEC does not specify a minimum or maximum height for cable tray installation. The primary concerns are structural support and cable management. Cable trays are designed to support and route cables, providing an organized and accessible system for electrical and data wiring. When installing cable trays, several factors must be considered to ensure a safe and compliant installation. Firstly, proper support is crucial. The cable tray must be securely supported at intervals not exceeding 1.8 meters or 6 feet. This ensures that the tray can bear the weight of the cables without excessive sagging or deflection. The support should be appropriate for the type of cable tray and the anticipated load. Secondly, deflection is a critical consideration. The maximum allowable deflection is 1/240 of the span. This means that the amount the cable tray bends under the weight of the cable should not exceed this limit. Excessive deflection can damage the cables and compromise the integrity of the installation. Thirdly, the type of cable tray should be selected based on the environment and the types of cables being supported. Different types of cable trays are available, including ladder trays, ventilated trays, and solid bottom trays. Ladder trays are commonly used for power cables and control cables, providing good ventilation and easy access. Ventilated trays are suitable for data cables and communication cables, offering some protection while maintaining airflow. Solid bottom trays are used in areas where cable protection is critical, such as in environments with dust or moisture. Fourthly, cable installation within the tray must be done correctly. Cable should be properly secured to the tray to prevent movement and strain. Cable ties, clamps, or other approved methods can be used to secure the cables. Overfilling the cable tray should be avoided to ensure adequate ventilation and prevent overheating. Fifthly, grounding and bonding are essential for safety. The cable tray system must be properly grounded and bonded to provide a low impedance path for fault currents. This helps to protect personnel and equipment in the event of a short circuit. Grounding and bonding should be done in accordance with NEC requirements. Sixthly, clearances around the cable tray must be maintained. Sufficient clearance should be provided around the cable tray to allow for maintenance and inspection. This includes vertical clearance above the tray and horizontal clearance around the tray. The specific clearance requirements may vary depending on the application and local codes. Seventhly, documentation is an important part of the cable tray installation process. Accurate records should be kept of the cable tray layout, cable types, and support locations. This documentation can be helpful for future maintenance and troubleshooting. Eighthly, regular inspections should be conducted to ensure that the cable tray system is in good condition. Inspections should include checking for loose supports, excessive deflection, and damaged cables. Any issues should be addressed promptly to prevent further damage or safety hazards. Ninthly, consider the environmental conditions. If the cable tray is installed in a corrosive environment, such as a chemical plant or a coastal area, corrosion-resistant materials should be used. Stainless steel or fiberglass cable trays may be suitable for these applications. Tenthly, follow manufacturer's instructions. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation and maintenance of the cable tray system. The manufacturer's instructions may provide specific recommendations for support spacing, cable loading, and other critical factors. In summary, cable tray installation requires careful planning and execution to ensure a safe and reliable system. While the NEC does not specify a minimum or maximum height, it emphasizes the importance of proper support, deflection limits, and grounding. By following these guidelines and adhering to local codes, a cable tray system can be installed that meets the needs of the application and provides long-term performance.